Hello everybody and welcome back. We are going to get into some more homemade gifts today for Christmas. There has been a large movement lately of people wanting to pull away from the consumeristic, business-minded Christmas season. They want a simpler way to celebrate with more love and more handmade gifts. So I am bringing you a bunch of different ideas today to go along with my Handmade Christmas series. Now, if you haven't seen any of the other videos in this series, I will be linking the playlist at the end of this video, so make sure you head over there and check out all the other ideas I have there for you. All right, to get started, I am going to start off with a Christmas simmer pot. There is nothing better than putting a simmer pot on the stove, and for me it's on my wood cook stove, and it just brings this aromatic sensation to the house. It just is so lovely, so I love to be able to give these gifts to other people as well. So I have two different simmer pot recipes that I'm going to show you today so that you can give them as gifts as well. All right, so I'm just going to use a wide mouth mason jar here because I just find that these are easy to put in and we can make them really pretty. We're going to start off with a regular Christmas blend. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 3 sticks of cinnamon. Now, prior to this, I did dry some apples and oranges. I have a dehydrator, so that's what I used. However, if you don't have a dehydrator, you can plop these in the oven at 200 degrees and just leave them in there for about 3 hours, and this will give you some beautifully dried fruit. So I'm going to pop in 2 orange pieces, and then I've also dried some apples, so I'm going to plop in 2 of those as well. On top of that, I also have some star anise. These are just the cutest little things. They smell like black licorice, and I just love the look of them. So I'm plopping in 4 or 5 would be good. And I'm gonna get them down there at the bottom so that we don't have too much empty space. Now, I also have some whole cloves. So I'm just going to put in a little handful of those in there. And lastly, if you can pick some fresh evergreens, it could be pine, fir, whatever, it doesn't matter. I have some cedar here. You can plop that in and that just finishes it off. All right, so you can just top that with a lid and then we can wrap a ribbon around that later, but there is our simmer pot jar, and it's just beautiful, easy to put together, and a lovely gift. All right, I'm going to move on to my second simmer pot here. Again, I'm going to start off with 3 cinnamon sticks. Now, with my oranges, I also dried lemon. Any sort of citrus at this time of year is really beautifully dried and put in a simmer pot. So I'm going to go ahead and toss 3 of those in there. Now I'm going to add some rosemary. If you have a rosemary sprig, that would be even better here. I personally don't have a rosemary sprig, so I'm just going to add a handful of dried rosemary. So about that much. And we're going to add that into this jar. All right, so we just add our lid, and there's our simmer pot. Now, if you had a vanilla bean, dried vanilla bean, that would be really, really nice in this simmer pot as well. That's something I don't have, so we're leaving that out today, but if you have a vanilla bean, you can go ahead and add that in here. Now you can stay tuned until later, and I'm going to show you how I wrap these. All right, that's our simmer pots done. Next up, I'm going to move on to some potpourri. My mom loves potpourri. I grew up with potpourri all around the house. It would be in little sachets in our sock drawers and our clothing drawers, and it was just everywhere. So I love to be able to give her some homemade potpourri, as well as some other people in my life. So if you know somebody that loves some homemade potpourri, this might be one for you. All right, for this recipe, I'm starting off with equal parts of each. So it depends on how much you want to make. I'm doing about 1/3 cup each of these, but these are dried rose heads. So rosebuds, I should say. So I'm going to add those in. Again, I have 1/3 cup, or just about 1/3 cup of dried lavender. And just to throw a mix in here, 1/3 cup of dried rosemary. Now we're just going to mix that up. That already smells so fragrant and so lovely in here right now. I could definitely see adding these into closets, into clothes drawers, the bathroom, and it's so pretty. So having it sit in a nice pretty bowl, that would be so lovely. Now I have these little sachets. I just found these at the dollar store. I was looking for something a little bit bigger, but this will do. So I'm just going to go ahead. We can even add in little dried lemon bottoms. So they're smaller and they just fit in that sachet really nicely. We're going to go ahead and just fill these sachets with our potpourri mixes. Here we go. And that smells so lovely, and that's just a cute little gift. You could add that to a stocking stuffer, and that's just really pretty. All right, for my next gift, this is going to require a tool, and that is a wood burning kit. They're not overly expensive. You can get them on Amazon. And I find after we bought ours, we actually use it quite a bit, especially for gifts. Now you can use it on a piece of wood to make a sign. You can use them on coasters. You can use them on tools and such to give out. This year I decided to use mine on some wooden spatulas. So I was intending on actually doing this on wooden spoons, but the handles were too thin and too round for me to make a good sentence on them. So I went with my wooden spatulas instead. And I'll just show you what I'm doing with the one I'm working on right now. All right, so here is the spatula that I'm working on right now. This is my wood burning tool. You can see that it almost has like a pencil end on it. They typically come with some different ends on the tips. This one's great for writing with. Now you are just going to take some time. It takes a little bit of getting used to, and I still mess up, but I honestly find that that sometimes adds to the quality of it. You know it's handmade then. But it kind of writes, when it's going over some grain, it gets a little weird sometimes, but just practice with it and keep working on it. And this way you can write like little sentences and such, or you can personalize things with their name, or you can write special dates on things. So these ones I've just focused on writing some fun sayings on it. This one was my daughter's idea. Let her cook. Keeping up with the new slang. Full-time job these days, I think. And then we've got this one's like a throwback to Game of Thrones. If anybody's seen that, dinner is coming. So that's their winter is coming. And this is just a little funny one, stirring the pot. So the double innuendo there. So I'll just finish these up. And then these can get put in a basket with some cookie mix or cake mix or things like that. If you're doing like a cooking basket or baking basket for someone, these are perfect to add in. All right, so the next Christmas gift we are going to work on is herb infused oils for cooking. So there's two different ways you can do this. You can put the dried herbs in your oil. I'm using olive oil, and you can put that in your oil in a jar, let it sit on your counter for 6 weeks, giving it a little shake every now and again, and then straining out your herbs and bottling it. That's one way to do it. However, I'm going to show you the quicker way to do it where it's not just sitting on your counter for 6 weeks. We're going to do it in the slow cooker. All right, so you're going to get your slow cooker and you're going to get your olive oil, and you're just going to go ahead and pour all of your olive oil into your slow cooker, as much as you would like. Now, you can put your herbs in here like sprigs. However, you're going to want them dry. You're not going to want the woody parts even, so I wouldn't even suggest sprigs actually. I suggest fully dry herbs. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to put them in these little tea bags here and put them in with my olive oil. So that means that it's a lot easier to clean up afterwards. It's a lot easier to bottle afterwards, where if you just throw in the fresh herbs without the bags, then you're going to have to strain them out afterwards. But absolutely make sure that your herbs are dry. So we're going to go ahead, throw our sachets in there, and we're going to put this on low and let it sit for 6 hours. All right, so I am going to be doing a baking basket. So to this, I am going to be adding a little pantry mix of chocolate chip cookies. Pantry mixes are such amazing gifts because you can just pull them out and it's so quick to whip together either pancakes or brownies, or in this case, chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to make those. All right, so I've got my jar and I've got my funnel. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Get it all down in there. So I'm going to hope that it all fits in this jar, because sometimes it can be tricky. To that, I'm going to go ahead and add 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. On top of that, I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking soda. And now I'm adding 1 cup of brown sugar. So we're going to have to push this down to make sure it all fits. There we go. So you can mix this up beforehand, but it's not necessary, because then it's just sitting nicely in that jar. I should have had the brown sugar down here and the white up here, so that way we got a difference in color, but that's okay. This still looks really nice. So you can wrap this up with a little recipe card, because they are going to add 1/2 cup of chocolate chips, 1 cup of butter, 2 eggs, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And that's what's going to be added when they're baking these. And they bake at 375 for 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm going to include a recipe card with this, and I'll probably even include a little sachet of chocolate chips, so that way they've got them there as well. But that is a lovely Christmas gift. All right, so this is the wrapping that I've done for my cookie mix. You can see that I've got the chocolate chips attached here, and then I've got the recipe card as well. You can use a bigger recipe card. This is just what I have. And then I just wrapped a ribbon around it, and that is perfect to go in a basket or to be gifted all on its own. All right, moving on to our next gift. This is going to be homemade candles. Now you can do this with soy, but today I'm doing it with beeswax because I actually have a great big chunk of beeswax that I am trying to work through because I got it a couple years ago. So that's what I'm going to be making my candles out of today. You can get little pellets of beeswax as well. They melt easier, where I'm having to chop up my block. So if you're looking for ease, I would go for the pellets for sure. I know my beeswax came from a local apiary, so I'm happy with working with that today. Now, you're going to need some wick, and you're going to need some jars. You'll also need some coconut oil for this recipe as well. Now, I got this kit from Amazon. It comes with the wicks, it comes with the stickers so that you can stick them to the bottom of your jars so that your wick's not moving around. It came with the wooden wicks. It was really inexpensive. It wasn't very expensive at all. And it came with all the wicks that I needed. So I'm really happy with this kit. So you can find that on Amazon. Just look up candle wicks and you'll find these kits there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm doing. So I am, of course, using canning mason jars here. And you can see that I have stuck my wick into the bottom, and it also came with these popsicle sticks with the holes in the middle so that you can hold your wick right in the middle of your jar. This right here is the big block of beeswax I'm working with. So I'm just doing a little bit at a time because it's actually really hard to cut through, but I've just shaved a bit off, so that's what I'm going to work with right now. So you need a bit of a double boiler system going. I've got this little pot here that I've been using for the lip balm. So I'm going to use it for my beeswax candles as well. But you're probably going to want a pot that you're never going to use again, and something that fits in another pot. So I've got boiling water under here, and then I'm melting the wax up here. And once this is fully melted, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple tablespoons of coconut oil in there. It just helps the candle to burn more smoothly and not to crack. I really like using beeswax candles because they actually help to purify the air in your home. They're very beneficial to have in your home, where some of the fabricated candles that you get in the store today with the artificial scents in them are very harmful. They can actually lead to cancer. So it's just, I prefer to have natural homemade beeswax candles. Otherwise, I don't burn anything at all. Now, you don't need to have a scent in your candles. The smell of the beeswax actually has a very small scent of honey to it. It smells really pleasant. If you did want to add some essential oils, I'm actually going to add some peppermint today just to make it smell like candy canes because it is a Christmas gift. So I'm going to add some essential oils. Once I've got my coconut oil in there and the wax is all melted, that's when I'll add it. We're going to add 40 to 50 drops because you do need quite a bit in there to have the scent come through. All right, that's melted. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple tablespoons of coconut oil in there. Goodness. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and also add in my essential oils. All right, my candle wax is all ready, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour it into this candle. There we go. That should come up right about to the top. You can see how quickly this is beginning to set already. Already changing colors. I would give it at least 2 to 3 days before I burnt this though. And the first time it is burnt, burn it for 3 to 5 hours so that it gets a good burn. But you can see the stick keeps the wick nice and even. And now we have our beautiful beeswax peppermint Christmas candle. All right, that is the last of the Christmas gifts that I am doing today. However, make sure that you are following my Handmade Christmas playlist because I will constantly be putting up more ideas there all the way through until Christmas. I would also like to thank my Patreon members. Thank you guys so much for being there with me. If you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon page where I share a lot of exclusive content that I do not share anywhere else. That can be video tutorials. It's also weekly budget blogs as well as monthly lists. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you head over to check that out. I will have it linked in the description box for you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you all next time.